Okay, we're going to look at this still life of, I don't know if it's really a still life or a product shot, of dry goods, of food. Since I'm going to expose for the, look, the lightest area is over here, so I'm going to tap my camera screen right here. So I got a good exposure for there, but I lose a little bit as my hand gets in the way, it messes it up. But I lose a little bit of exposure here. So I'm going to tap here in the shadow. See what that does. That brightens things up. Might be a little too bright over here now. I'm going to tap in the middle. I'm just seeing what it does. Okay, so we can get a good general exposure that way. And if you get good at post-production, particularly in Photoshop, we could probably pull something usable out of that. However, that's not guaranteed. So setting up our lighting is the best way we can, well, nothing's guaranteed, but we can get as close as possible. We can do a better job. Okay, so I have a couple basic tools. I set up a sweep with gray paper. I know not everyone has this, but you always have to consider your background, and this is one of the easiest ways to just clean up a background. People have used a sheet, and if you do that, be sure you iron it or steam it. You don't want to have to retouch a bunch of wrinkles out. So, three main tools, first of which is our table lamp, and that's going to act as our key light. Remember, key light is the principal light. And I have this, I got an old wine crate to put this on if I need to elevate this. And I have a reflector, a homemade reflector, a piece of cardboard, and I taped, in this case, pieces of newsprint. It would have been better if I had brighter white paper and white tape. It's going to reflect more light. But on the other side, I taped some aluminum foil, and that's much more reflective. And I've got a box to hold it up. This is cheap and light, and this other box will hold this reflector up. So first thing I want to do is, if possible, I want to get rid of the ambient light. All these other lights are on. I want to turn them off, so the only light that's on is my key light. That's going to make things really dramatic, but it's going to make it easy for me to position that key light. I just have to run up the stairs to turn off the overhead lights. So I'm shaping light. Look how dramatic this is. We really want some more information in here. And I bet you even with the silver, it's not going to be bright enough. So it's a little weird to have light just raking across the front. We're used to having lights overhead, whether it's overhead in the room or the sunshine above. So I'm going to elevate this and bring it as far forward as possible. Really, I would want to get this around the corner here. That's my ideal. I don't want to get it overhead like this, but up here might be nice, but that's tough. Here, I'm going to deal with the conditions that we have in front of us. Okay, all the labels are readable. Let's see if I can cheat this out a little bit. I'm going to fill in the shadows. I'm going to start with just the white card. That's not bad. I'm going to go to the silver. And I'm angling this back and forth just so I can see where the reflection, okay, I'm looking at where it says Pinto. It's opening up just a little bit, so I like this. I'm going to prop this up with a box. I can get this closer because I can always crop this out. I want to leave a little room to work with, but I can crop it. Let's see. Let me get in real close here. see what we're looking at. Not bad, a little moody, but let's see, we'll try the exposure thing again. I'm going to touch the screen right here, expose for that. And then I'm going to touch the screen over here, the darker area, and expose for that. It's nice over here now, but all this stuff is way crazy too white. So I'm just going to, I'll touch here. Not bad. Okay, so I think our key light gives a little bit of mood. And then what I'm going to do is I'll turn on the house lights to fill in all the ambient light. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to take a picture of this. Okay. All right, so a little less dramatic. And let me try touching the screen over here again. Nah, it gets too bright. Touch right on the front of the hot sauce bottle. I just touched over there. Okay, that's not a bad exposure. I'm going to take that. So by shutting off all the lights and just messing around with the key light, that single main light, it's going to show you how your subject, it takes shape, or how you can reveal the shape or even modify the shape a little bit, the appearance of the shape, by moving the key light. And then when you turn the rest of the lights on, kind of a lot of the shadow areas fill in. The deep shadows aren't going to fill in, but those kind of mid-tone shadows are going to fill in, and it's going to kind of temper everything, mellow it out a little bit. All right, let's bring these into Photoshop for a little bit of post-production and see what we can pull out of these two exposures.